I'm very excited to be here with you today, with not smart data, but smart people. I really enjoy working with a lot of people around the world, and I work with about 10 teams every week at Google, as my role is head of innovation and creativity programs, to really help them to develop new ideas and new creative solutions. And so for me, a mantra in my life to stay creative and kind of like find new inspiration, I never do things twice. I really try to only do things in my life which keeps me not just on my feet, but keeps inspiration coming. And I encourage you in the next weeks, months, years, try to do that in the same way. Because the next time you're going to book a hotel or you're going to go to a restaurant you've been before, you expect the same things, right? You expect this is going to happen in the hotel, this is going to happen in the restaurant. But if you try to go in a new restaurant or a new hotel, I promise you, you're going to learn something new, and you're going to find something new, a new piece of inspiration. So try to do that as well, as much as possible. And thanks for the introduction. I won't talk about our products today, because I think you can look online, like what we're doing with our balloons, trying to give 5 billion people actually internet access in the next years, or about Google Glass or self-driving cars and so forth. I want to share a little bit about why we're doing specific things in our company and how we actually manage to innovate on a regular basis, so that you as leaders in your organization also can take those principles and really move your company forward into the future as well. So please raise your hand really quickly, your right hand. Great. So who knows that we have massages at Google? Great. Stick your hand up if you know that we have massages at Google. Great. Who knows that we have free food at Google? Great. Keep your hands up. Who knows that we can work on 20% projects at Google? Great. Who knows that we also have hairdressers on staff at Google? Great. So only a couple of people left. Do you believe those things help us to become one of the most innovative companies in the world? If you don't think so, you can drop your hand. Only 2 people. Great. Excellent. And I tell you, this is actually not why we are one of the most innovative companies in the world. It's not about free food. It's not about getting a haircut in the office. And it's definitely not about getting a massage in the office. It's really about other things. It's about 3 principles I want to share with you, which are actually for free, and you can try out in your organization as well. To start sharing those principles with you, I won't just talk about those. You will help me to also develop those for your specific organization. So I want that you actually take the piece of paper, you probably wondered why this is on your seat, and the nice red pen or black pen you have over there. And I want you, in the next minute, that you sketch or draw your partner next to you, even if you don't know the person. Right? Great. I hope that's a challenge for some people. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to draw a rough outline or a very detailed picture, depending on your skills and your talents, about the person next to you. So take that 1 minute and do that. It's going to be something useful, I'm going to promise you. So take that time, 1 minute. Great, about 30 seconds left. Great. Some show me already their successful Picasso pictures. Great. Excellent. So what I want you to do now is kindly hand over that piece of art to your partner and share that with them. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great, I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people laughing, which is good. But if you think about it, you just demonstrated that you took this challenge and drew somebody next to you. Then you shared it with them. What I also saw some people doing where they said, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Or they laughed and said like, oh yeah, I was not really good in sketching that picture. And you excused yourself, and some were actually very embarrassed to share that picture with their neighbors. And that tells a story, which is that we sometimes, if we have an idea, or if we think we have a concept, and it's really something which is somehow revolutionary, or it's something which you think people might laugh about because it's not finished, and we don't have the skills yet to develop this idea, we actually never won't share that. Because exactly what happens is you feel embarrassed, people will start laughing about you, and so forth. At Google, we try to really embrace that child's mindset and the beginner's mindset, even if an idea sounds crazy, and we just have a raw sketch of it. We will still share that, sometimes with pride and also respect with our colleagues. And I learned that every day when my son, he's 4 at the moment, comes home from kindergarten. He shows me his new pictures he drew. And how does he show me the pictures? Usually, I would never laugh about the pictures, right? You don't want to do that as a parent. Also, he is very serious in showing me that this is a boat. And this is a boat with a really fast engine. And this is a boat which can actually fly. Right? So we want to include that mindset in our organization, that everybody is able to share something, even if they think it's not finished and not ready. So what I want you to do now is I want to start to share the first principle, which actually motivates the people to come to our organization and work there every day, because it's not the free food, and it's not the massages, and it's not the haircuts, I promise. It's something else which motivates people. It is the passion about the mission. A mission is something where people really feel like this is what gets me out of bed, and this is helping me to actually achieve something in my life. Because we spend quite some time working in our life. And if we do things, and there are some articles in the German newspaper in the last week, that actually 2/3 of the people in organizations are not motivated by their work. So definitely you can provide free food, but that doesn't change anything. So motivating people is about having a specific mission. And that mission should be something big and bold, and where people really start feeling that they can contribute to make an impact in the world. Our mission, by the way, is organizing the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. And that's where you see the Project Loon you talked about in the introduction, where the engineers or the people who built the balloons, they're really passionate about providing exactly access to, for example, 1 billion people in remote locations, remote pieces of the world, because they feel like they can provide education and literacy to those people, and they have never seen something like that before. But you can argue about YouTube or Chrome or Android or self-driving cars in the exact same way. It's about a mission. For self-driving cars, the mission is to provide safe transportation while removing the human error for the world. And that's really what the engineer is trying to achieve, and that's what they really want to do every day. So I want you, because now you have a nice picture of yourself in front of you, to turn that page over and describe in the next 1 minute what would be some mission which could be really bold, really some big problem you want to solve in the world, or you have an idea or a concept you're really passionate about, and describe that ideally with a sketch or a drawing as well, or with a couple of words. So I want you to take 1 minute again and describe a really big problem, a really big mission for you as an organization or leader of an organization, or if you're passionate about something which is not part of what you're doing at the moment. So take that 1 minute and describe that on that piece of paper. Again, I promise that's going to be useful afterwards. Great, about 30 more seconds. Can be just one statement, a really big, bold vision. Great. I hope you are passionate about what you have in front of you, because you should be passionate about it, because that's developed by you. But nothing is going to happen to that specific problem, like Mr. Schüssler, I was reading yours, if I may. Fight the world hunger, which is, I think, really something which is aligned with the company as far as I understood from your presentation. So what happens now is that usually we keep that mission or vision for ourselves. And I want to share with you the second principle after having a mission which motivates people. For us as a company, which really helps us to move fast and really be innovative every day. And that's called transparency. In our organization, everything what we do is very transparent, horizontally and vertically. That means that, for example, our two founders, Larry and Sergey, take every week 1 hour to give an update for 30 minutes about the company and what they're doing of specific products, specific visions, and so forth. We get together every Friday, which is called, thank Google, it's Friday, TGIF. We eat something together, we drink something together in a very social environment, and they provide an input for 30 minutes. The biggest benefit of that is they stay for another 30 minutes to receive questions and give answers about anything you can imagine. Previous examples were, for example, when Larry stood up as a CEO, the people asked him, Larry, are you going to now wear a suit now as you are a CEO? Obviously, the answer was no, because we only have 3 rules for how we dress at Google, which is just wear something. But the transparency aspect is very important, that you have vertically transparency and you know what your leaders are doing and you can access them. So every week, they take the time to receive questions and give answers for a very long time. The second one, which is more horizontally, is that we can see what others are working on. So I want to know what people in other teams are working on. So I can access their goals for the quarter, for example, because I describe what they want to achieve and how they work on these things. We also get access to all calendars of our employees. That means that I can see what my colleagues are doing, who they're meeting with, and when they have some time available so that I can meet with them and book a meeting with them really quickly. Just think about how much time it saves you if you don't have to email that person and go back and forth. When do you have time? Do you have 15 minutes here? Or maybe we're going to meet here, or maybe we're going to meet there. You just look up what time slot is available, and then you can book a meeting with your colleagues. So it's not about control. It's about really that you see potentials for collaboration and opportunities to see what other people are doing and what they're meeting, who they're meeting with. Another one is that we actually get together and share things about our projects, roadmaps, and new ideas we're working on with everybody in the company. So all our documents are accessible by just a simple search for either a name, a project, or an idea. So that amount of transparency really helps you as an organization to build trust amongst each other, but also trust in your leadership. And the leadership obviously has the trust then as well into the employees, because we agree that we're not going to share something outside if we don't want to. So for us, it's about the default to open. So default to open means that everything is accessible from the beginning. And then you start restricting things if you want to. For example, the letter of board of directors, which is shared with CEOs and so forth, which usually in a company would only be accessible by the board members, is instantly available to every employee. And they can read through what the board members discussed and what were some decisions they basically made. So default to open is really something which is interesting to try out, because the transparency aspect in an organization is very helpful to share information, to get access to knowledge, and also get access to people and their times. So what I want you to do now is take your piece of paper, which you have in front of you, with your big, bold vision or idea, and you want to probably share that within the room, right? So maybe there's somebody who is also excited about solving world hunger, like Mr. Schussler here, and who wants to partner with him. So I want you to fold a piece of paper in form of a paper plane. I hope everybody still remembers how to do that. If not, you can experiment how to fold the paper in a paper plane. If you want, you can also include your name or your email on the piece of paper. You don't have to. It's not necessary. Maybe people will recognize you from the picture. And who knows what's going to happen now? So we're not going to put our big, bold mission and problem in our backpacks. We're actually going to share that. So I want you to get up on your feet real quickly. Right? Prepare yourself for a launch. I'm going to count until 3, or backwards from 3 actually, because that's a launch. And then you're just going to throw the piece of paper the airplane across the room and see where it's going to land. And you can pick up one from another person and see what their big, bold vision is. So everybody on their feet, please. Great. So 3, 2, 1, go. Now feel free to pick up another plane. And maybe you want to take the lunch break afterwards and connect with the person. You don't have to, so nobody is forced to do that. It's just creating an opportunity to work together in the future as well. So we have mission, our first principle. The second one, transparency. And I want to come back and share with you the third principle, which is really important for an organization as well to keep innovating, which is voice. So giving every employee voice means that you really carefully listen to every single employee in the company about what they're passionate about, what bothers them, and take that feedback and act on it. Because ideas essentially come from everywhere in your organization. It's not just the 2 or 3 smart people who head up the project. It's everywhere where ideas can be born and generated. But also, if something is not going right in your organization, you want to listen carefully what's going wrong and what you can do to make it better. So having a form of giving people voice and also bring that voice or that critique to somebody else or the leadership is something really necessary. So for us, it's very important, and we actually have a couple of tools which help us to really gather data about our people and what they're feeling. So we have a tool called Google Geist, which is an annual survey we launch usually the beginning of the year to really measure the pulse of the organization. About 94% of the employees, called Googlers, are participating in that survey. And we ask many, many, many questions about really anything you can imagine. How is your leader doing? How do you believe we can basically move forward into the future? Would you still work here in 5 years, and so forth? Are you happy with your salary? And all those things. And the most important thing is to not just gather that data, because otherwise the next year nobody would participate, if you not act on it. That means employees form small teams, they take a specific issue, and then they're gonna start a project to address that issue. And that can be around performance management, career development, about salary, about motivation, about work-life balance, about anything you can imagine. The necessary thing is to capture that feedback and then really act on it as a company together. So now you actually shared your paper planes with the big, bold mission. That means that everybody here in the room had a voice to bring something forward and share that with everybody else. So the 3 principles about mission, which helps to motivate people, about transparency, which helps to engage people, and about voice, which makes you listen to your people, is something which I strongly recommend for you as leaders to just try out in your organization. Because the nice thing about those 3 principles is that it doesn't cost anything. It's actually for free. So you don't have to start giving your people free food, massages, haircuts, and a nice and playful environment. If you want to do that, that's not wrong. It's actually quite helpful as well. But just providing that environment without those 3 principles and the operation principles for us as a company, it's useless. So the combination of giving those 3 principles to your employees while providing an environment which is playful, which is about empowering people, which is transparent, and sometimes you can get a haircut or a massage, that combination is really powerful and helps you to really become one of the most innovative companies in the world.